The station was old, quiet, and tired. Like everything that circled the red dying star, paint peeled from the metal walls, lights flickered without warning, and the air always smelled of oil and recycled breath. Most people who passed through did not stay longer than needed. They bought fuel, repaired ships, and left. Only those with nowhere else to go called this place home. The human man worked here. His name was Eli, and he was a cargo technician. It was not an important job, but it kept him alive. He checked shipments, repaired damaged crates, and moved supplies between docks. Some days were busy, most were slow. Today was slow. After a long shift, Eli walked through the lower ring of the station. This area was not for tourists or traders. It was where the poor stayed. Broken heaters lined the walls, and people sat on the floor, waiting for something to change. Eli was used to this sight. He kept his head down and walked toward his sleeping pod. As he passed one of the old heat vents, he noticed someone different. She was not human. She sat close to the vent, her body curled inward, thin arms wrapped around herself. Her skin was pale blue, marked with darker lines that looked like cracks in stone. Her eyes were large and dark, watching the floor instead of the people passing by. Her clothes were old and torn, clearly reused many times. Eli slowed his steps. He had seen aliens before. Many species passed through the station, but this one looked small, weak. Her breathing was slow, careful. Like each breath took effort. Eli noticed her hands shaking. She was hungry. Most people ignored her. Some looked afraid and walked faster. Others looked at her with dislike. There were stories about her species. Rumors said they were strange, secretive, and dangerous in ways no one understood. Eli had heard the stories too, but he also saw the truth sitting in front of him. She was starving. Eli stopped. He felt the weight of his food pack in his bag. It was not much. Just a protein meal and some nutrient bars. Enough for one night. He thought about his long shift tomorrow and the lack of food vendors in the lower ring. He hesitated. Then he stepped closer. The alien woman noticed him and flinched slightly. Her eyes lifted, watching his hands, his face, ready to move if needed. Eli raised his hand slowly to show he meant no harm. He reached into his bag and pulled out the food pack. He knelt down and placed it on the floor, just within her reach. "This is for you," he said in simple trade language. "You look like you need it more than me." She stared at the food. Then she stared at him. Her eyes widened, not with hunger, but with confusion. She did not reach for it. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, studying his face. As if trying to understand something unseen, Eli waited. After a long moment, she slowly reached out and touched the pack. Her fingers brushed against it, then pulled back. She looked around, checking if this was some kind of trick. No one was watching them. No guards. No cameras nearby that still worked. Finally, she picked up the food. She opened it carefully, as if afraid it might disappear. She took a small bite, then paused. Her body relaxed slightly. She took another bite, then another. Slowly eating, savoring each piece. Eli watched quietly. He did not rush her. When she finished, she closed the empty pack and held it against her chest. She looked up at him again. This time, her eyes were wet, shining under the dim station lights. She spoke softly, her voice rough from lack of use. "You did not ask for trade." "No," Eli said. "I didn't. You did not demand service." "No. You did not fear me." Eli shrugged slightly. "You looked hungry." For a moment, she said nothing. Then she placed one hand over her chest and bowed her head slightly. It was a gesture Eli did not recognize, but he understood it meant thanks. "My name is Sarah," she said. "I will remember this." Eli smiled, a small, tired smile. "I'm Eli." She stood slowly, still weak, but steadier now. She took a step back, then another. Before leaving, she looked at him one last time. There was something different in her gaze now. Something sharp, alert. Then she disappeared into the shadows of the lower ring. Eli stood up and exhaled. He felt lighter, but also uneasy, like he had stepped onto a path he could no longer see. He shook his head and continued to his sleeping pod, telling himself it was just food, just kindness, nothing more. That night, he slept poorly. He dreamed of eyes watching him, not with anger, but with interest. He woke several times, listening to the distant hum of the station. At one point, he thought he heard footsteps outside his pod. When he checked the door logs, there was nothing recorded. The next day passed slowly. Eli worked his shift, moved crates, fixed a broken loader, and answered a few bored questions from passing pilots. Still, he felt that strange feeling in his chest, like anticipation mixed with fear. When his shift ended, he returned to his pod. 6 figures stood outside his door. Eli froze. They were aliens, tall and strong, with the same pale blue skin and dark markings as Sarah. Their clothing was clean, layered, and clearly designed with purpose. Their eyes were calm, focused, and fixed on him. Station security stood nearby, confused and nervous. Their scanners showed no weapons, but the presence of these aliens made everyone uncomfortable. One of them stepped forward. "We have been waiting," the alien said in perfect trade language. "You are Eli, son of Earth." Eli swallowed. "Yes, we come because of an act you performed." Eli's heart pounded. He glanced at the guards, then back at the aliens. "I don't want trouble." The alien inclined his head. "There will be no harm, only gratitude." Another alien stepped forward and bowed deeply. Then all 5 bowed. The guards stared in shock. Eli stood there, unsure what to do. "You fed one of our weak," the first alien said. "You shared food without demand, without fear, without command." Eli slowly nodded. She was hungry. The alien's eyes softened. "Among our people, this act is sacred." Eli felt a chill run down his spine. The alien continued. "Long ago, when our species stood at the edge of extinction, we survived only because we shared food with those who could not repay us. That lesson became law. That law became survival." Eli's voice was quiet. "I didn't know." "You did not need to know," the alien said. "You acted as you are." The alien stepped closer, stopping at a respectful distance. "Because of your act, you are now considered safe kin, a being who may enter our homes without fear." The words echoed in Eli's mind. "Homes," another alien spoke. "We are few on this station. Hidden, misunderstood. But we are not powerless." Eli's hands tightened at his sides. "What do you want from me?" The first alien shook his head. "Nothing. We wish to give." He gestured behind them. "Come with us. See who we are. Accept our hospitality." The guards exchanged nervous looks. One stepped closer to Eli. "You don't have to go," the guard whispered. Eli looked at the aliens. At their calm posture, their open hands. He thought of Sarah, sitting by the heat vent, shaking with hunger. He took a slow breath. "If I go," Eli said, "will I come back?" The alien smiled slightly. "Yes," Eli nodded. "I'll go." As they led him away from the familiar metal halls, Eli felt fear. But beneath it was something stronger, curiosity, and somewhere deep inside, a quiet understanding that one small act of kindness had opened a door humanity did not even know existed. The walk away from the public halls felt unreal. Eli followed the 5 aliens through service corridors that most station maps no longer showed. The lights here were dimmer, but cleaner, recently repaired. Doors opened without visible controls as the aliens approached. The station sounds faded, replaced by a low, steady hum that Eli felt more than heard. Station security stopped at the edge of the corridor. They could not follow. Eli glanced back once, then kept moving. The aliens walked in calm silence. Their movements were smooth and controlled, never rushed. Eli noticed that none of them walked ahead of the others. They stayed in a loose circle around him, not as guards, but as escorts. After several turns, the metal walls changed. They were no longer station gray. The surface became dark and smooth, with faint glowing lines that pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. The air felt warmer and cleaner. Eli realized he was breathing easier. "What is this place?" Eli asked. "A threshold," one alien replied. "This station was built around us. Most never knew." They reached a wide opening with no door. Beyond it was a large chamber filled with soft light. The walls curved naturally, not welded or bolted. The floor felt slightly flexible under Eli's boots, like firm rubber. "This is one of our homes," the alien said. Eli stepped inside. The chamber was beautiful in a quiet way. Living structures grew from the walls, forming seats, tables, and archways. Thin streams of light moved slowly through the surfaces, changing color as if reacting to movement and sound. Sarah stood near the center. She looked stronger now. Her posture was straight, her breathing steady. When she saw Eli, her eyes brightened. She stepped forward and placed her hand over her chest again. "You came," she said. "You invited me," Eli replied. She nodded. "That matters." The other aliens stepped aside, giving them space. One of them gestured, and a seat rose gently from the floor near Eli. He hesitated, then sat. The surface adjusted to his weight, supporting him comfortably. "You are safe here," the first alien said. "No harm will come to you." Eli nodded slowly. "I believe you." Food appeared next, not dropped or carried, but grown. The surface of a nearby table opened, forming small bowls and plates filled with warm, simple-looking food. The smell was unfamiliar but comforting. "For you," Sarah said. "You fed one of us. Now we feed you." Eli hesitated again. "Is it safe?" Sarah smiled slightly. "Yes. It is made for guests." He took a small bite. The taste was mild, filling, and surprisingly familiar, like bread mixed with warm soup. His body relaxed before his mind did. As he ate, the aliens watched quietly. When he finished, the first alien spoke again. "You may ask questions." Eli exhaled. "Why hide? Why live like this while others think you are poor and weak?" The alien looked at the others before answering. "Because we learned the cost of being seen." Sarah stepped closer. "Long ago, we were open. We shared our knowledge freely. Others took it, then tried to take us." Another alien continued. "Wars followed. We survived, but barely. We chose to disappear rather than rule or destroy." Eli listened carefully. "But you're not weak." "No," the alien agreed. "We are patient." They showed him more. Eli was guided through connected chambers, each one different. One room held records stored in living crystals, showing histories of stars forming and dying. Another room grew tools that adjusted shape based on who touched them. Everything reacted gently, as if aware. "This technology," Eli said quietly, "it's far beyond anything on the station." "Yes," Sarah said, "and we keep it hidden." "Why show it to me?" Sarah met his eyes. "Because you saw us when we were small." Gidding, they returned to the main chamber. The aliens formed a loose circle around Eli, not trapping him, but including him. "There is a problem," the first alien said, "and your presence is not coincidence." Eli stiffened. "What kind of problem?" "A removal," the alien replied. "A galactic authority plans to clear this station and nearby systems. They believe we are useless drifters." "They'll force you out," Eli said. "Yes," Sarah said, "and others like us." Eli frowned. "Why not just leave?" "Because leaving reveals us," another alien said, "and fighting confirms the lies others tell about us." Eli thought carefully. "What do you want from me?" The aliens were quiet for a moment. Finally, Sarah spoke. "We want your perspective. Humans see problems differently." Eli let out a weak laugh. "I'm just a cargo tech." "And yet," the first alien said, "you changed our path with one meal." They showed him the data. Hollow images formed in the air, showing official notices, transport orders, and timelines. The authority would arrive in weeks. Evacuation would be forced. Resistance would be labeled as aggression. Eli studied the information slowly. "They don't know you," he said. "They don't care." "Yes," Sira said. "That is the danger." Eli leaned back, thinking. "If you fight, you lose your secrecy. If you run, others suffer." "Correct." Eli rubbed his face. "What if you don't fight or run?" The aliens watched him closely. "What if," Eli continued, "you make them see you without fear?" Sarah tilted her head. "Explain." "Humans," Eli said slowly, "are good at records, at proof, at stories. If you show what you've done without showing all of what you are." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "You've helped others, haven't you?" Quietly, the aliens did not answer. But their silence was enough. Eli nodded. "If that help is documented, shared through human channels, it becomes harder to erase you." The first alien considered this. "You suggest exposure through trust." "Yes," Eli said. "Not power. Trust." Sira's eyes narrowed slightly, thoughtful. "And you believe humans will listen?" Eli smiled faintly. "Not all of them. But enough." The aliens discussed among themselves in a language Eli could not understand. Their voices were low and calm. After a long moment, they turned back to him. "We will consider this path," the first alien said. "But there is risk." "I know," Eli said. "There always is." Sira stepped closer again. "If we do this, your species becomes connected to ours." Eli met her gaze. "We already are." That night, Eli was given a guest chamber. The living walls adjusted to his breathing, dimming the light as he lay down. He could not sleep. His mind raced with thoughts of the authority, of humans, of quiet aliens hiding in plain sight. He wondered how many times kindness had passed unnoticed, never given the chance to change anything. In the middle of the night, Sarah came to him. "Walk with me," she said softly. They moved through a narrow passage that opened into a viewing chamber. A clear surface revealed the red star outside, slowly burning itself away. "Our people believe stars teach patience," Sarah said. "They burn for ages, even as they die." Eli watched the star. "Humans burn fast." Sarah smiled. "Yes, but brightly." She turned to him. "We will try your way." Eli's chest tightened. "Are you sure?" "No," she said honestly. "But certainty is not required for courage." She placed her hand over her chest again. "You fed hope." As Eli stood there, looking at the dying star beside a being from another world, he understood something clearly. This was no longer about food. It was about what kind of species humanity would become when the galaxy was finally watching. The next days moved faster than Eli expected. The hidden chambers became busy. Soft lights brightened. Living walls shifted and opened. The calm silence was replaced by quiet purpose. The aliens were preparing, not for war, but for exposure. Eli was brought into many discussions. Not as a leader, but as a translator of thought. The aliens showed him records of the past, ships repaired in secret, crops stabilized on dying worlds, diseases slowed by unseen help. Every act was small, careful, and designed to leave no clear trace. "You helped many," Eli said softly. "Yes," Sarah replied. "And we were forgotten." Eli nodded. "That might change." They began organizing the proof. The living crystals formed images and data streams. Eli helped arrange them into human-style records. Timelines. Cause and effect. Simple explanations. No threats. No secrets revealed beyond what was needed. "This will go through human channels first," Eli said. "Independent networks. Civilian data webs. If people see this before the authority acts, it changes the story." "Humans trust stories," Sarah said. "We trust patterns," Eli replied. "Stories make patterns visible." The first message was sent quietly. Not an announcement. Not a demand. Just a shared archive. Released into public human space with open access. It showed small moments of aid over decades. Anonymous help. No names. No weapons. At first, nothing happened. Eli waited. tense. The aliens remained calm, watching, listening. Hours passed. Then days. Then the reaction started. Human networks noticed the data. Analysts questioned it. Archivists verified stardates. Independent pilots recognized events they had lived through. Old repairs that made no sense at the time. Supplies that appeared just in time. The pattern emerged. Someone had been helping. The authority noticed too. Official ships arrived sooner than expected. Their presence was felt even in the hidden chambers. A pressure in the air. A shift in station traffic. Notices were broadcast demanding evacuation of non-registered species. Eli stood with Sira as the message played across a viewing surface. "They are accelerating," Eli said. "Yes," Sira replied. "Fear speeds them." The authority sent envoys. They demanded to meet representatives of the hidden species. They expected desperation, weakness, silence. Instead, they received a calm response. A meeting was arranged in a neutral station chamber. Eli was asked to attend, not as a shield, but as a witness. The chamber was cold and metallic, designed to intimidate. Authority officials sat behind a raised platform. Their uniforms were sharp, their expressions controlled. Sira entered with 4 others. Eli walked beside them. The officials scanned them, surprised by their posture. Not submissive, not aggressive, just present. "You are in violation of galactic settlement laws," the lead official said. "You occupy space without declaration." Sira nodded slightly. "We exist. That is true. You must leave," the official continued. "Failure to comply will result in removal." Eli stepped forward before Sarah could speak. "With respect," he said, keeping his voice steady. "That decision may not be simple anymore." The official turned sharply. "This is not a human matter." "It became one," Eli replied, "when your action affected beings who have helped humans for decades." The official frowned. "Evidence?" Sarah raised her hand. The chamber lights dimmed as the living crystal projected images into the air. Clear, simple, verified by human sources already reacting across the network. The officials watched in silence. Data scrolled. Dates aligned. Aid events matched recorded recoveries. No technology revealed. Only results. One official leaned forward. "This assistance was unauthorized." "Yes," Sira said calmly. "We did not seek permission to prevent suffering." Murmurs spread among the officials. Eli spoke again. "These beings did not rule. They did not conquer. They helped quietly. Your removal would erase a history you did not bother to see." The lead official's voice hardened. "Intentions do not override law." "No," Eli said. "But public awareness reshapes it." As if on cue, Eli's wrist device vibrated. Human news feeds were reacting. Civilian support grew. Questions spread. Pressure formed. The officials saw it too. They were no longer in control of the narrative. "We will review this," the lead official said stiffly. "Temporary stay granted." "No expansion." Sarah inclined her head. "That is enough." The meeting ended without victory celebrations. Only relief. Back in the hidden chambers, the aliens gathered quietly. There was no cheering. Just shared breath. "You faced them without fear," Eli said. "We feared," Sarah replied. "We simply did not let it decide for us." Days passed. The authority delayed. Reviews became debates. Human representatives demanded inclusion. Independent species began sharing similar stories. Small kindnesses surfaced everywhere. A pattern of unseen help spread across the galaxy. The hidden species was no longer alone. Eli prepared to leave. His time among them was ending. He stood in the main chamber, his bag packed, heart heavy. "You will return to your station life," Sarah said. "Yes," Eli replied. "Crates and broken loaders." Sarah smiled. "And stories." She stepped closer and placed a small living crystal into his hand. It was warm. "A record," she said. "Not of us. Of the choice you made." Eli closed his fingers around it. "I didn't do much." "You fed the weak," Sarah said. "Everything followed." As Eli walked back toward the public corridors, he felt different. Not important. Not powerful. Connected. Behind him, the hidden chambers dimmed. Not in retreat, but in rest. The galaxy was beginning to notice something it had ignored for too long. Kindness, once seen, was very hard to remove. Eli returned to his normal life. But nothing felt normal anymore. The station looked the same. The lights still flickered. The air still smelled of metal and old filters. People still hurried past each other with tired faces and heavy thoughts. Yet Eli saw it differently now. Every face carried a story. Every small action felt heavier. Like it mattered more than before. He went back to work. He checked cargo lists, repaired loaders, and argued with machines that refused to cooperate. His coworkers noticed something had changed. He was quieter, but also calmer. When others complained, Eli listened. When someone struggled, he helped without being asked. The living crystal stayed in his pocket. Sometimes, during breaks, Eli touched it. It was always warm. It did not speak or show images, but it reminded him of the truth he had seen. That small acts could move large things. The galaxy was changing. News continued to spread. Not just about the hidden species, but about a pattern. Other civilizations came forward with similar stories. Quiet helpers. Unseen hands. Aid without demands. The Galactic Authority tried to slow the movement, but it was too late. Humans asked questions. Why were these beings hidden? Why were they called drifters? Why did kindness need permission? Debates filled networks. Civilian groups organized support. Human diplomats demanded protection status for non-aggressive species. The authority was forced to adapt, slowly and reluctantly. The hidden species was officially recognized, not as rulers, not as weapons, as contributors. Sira visited Eli one last time. She met him near the same heat vent where they first spoke. This time, she did not look weak. Her posture was strong, her eyes clear. Others of her kind stood nearby, openly visible now. People watched them with curiosity instead of fear. "You came back," Eli said. "Yes," Sira replied. To close a circle, they stood in silence for a moment, listening to the station hum. "Our people will no longer hide like before," Sarah said. "But we will not change who we are." Eli nodded. "You shouldn't." She studied him. "Humans are strange." He smiled. "We know." You burn fast," she continued. "You act before certainty. You care even when it costs you." Eli shrugged lightly. "Sometimes, that's all we have." Sira reached into a small pouch and pulled out a token made of the same living material as their homes. She placed it in Eli's hand. "You are bond-bearer," she said. "Those who feed hope." Eli looked at it carefully. "That's a big title for a small meal." Sarah smiled. "Hope often begins small." She placed her hand over her chest. "When others see humans now, they will remember this." She turned and walked away, blending into a small group of her people. They moved calmly through the station. No longer shadows. Life continued. Months passed. Trade routes changed. New agreements formed. Humans were invited into spaces they had never been allowed before, not because of power, but because of trust. Eli did not become famous. His name appeared briefly in a few reports, then faded. He returned to routine, content with being ordinary. But sometimes, strangers treated him differently. A nod. A quiet thank you. A shared meal. One evening, Eli sat by the heat vent again. A young alien child sat nearby, watching him with wide eyes. The child's guardian stood a short distance away. Relaxed, Eli opened his bag. Inside was his food pack. He hesitated for only a second. Then he offered it to the child. The guardian watched carefully, then inclined their head in respect. The child accepted the food, smiling brightly. Other people noticed. A human woman nearby shared her drink with a tired worker. A trader gave extra supplies to a damaged ship without asking for payment. Small moments echoed outward. Eli leaned back against the wall, watching the station move around him. He understood something deeply now. Humanity did not stand out because it was the strongest. It stood out because it noticed. Where others saw weakness, humans often saw a choice. Where others saw risk, humans saw responsibility. Not always wisely, not always kindly, but often enough to matter. Far away, on worlds Eli would never see, decisions were being made with humans in mind, not as conquerors, but as unpredictable allies. Dangerous, the galaxy decided, because humans cared. The red star outside the station continued to burn, slow and steady. Eli closed his eyes and smiled faintly. One meal, one choice, and a future that would never be the same again.